Okay, you're through. Should be clear from there to the morgue. Remember, the codes are on the captain's body.
Hey, what's up, darling? Somehow I managed to escape death yet again, and here I am back in my own personal space station, and boy, I really miss you, but I did just get your package, and I'm glad I did. So for this rock bottom review, I'm going to do a little pickups video of your stuff that you sent me. So here we go. Let me see here. All right. Ooh, MLB front office manager. Nice. It's all the fun of baseball without actually playing any baseball, so that's cool. It's kind of like gym class for me as a kid. Now what else we got? Oh, Ratchet and Clank. High definition collection. High definition jumping around and collecting stuff and breaking things. Alright, I'm into that. Here's a good one you sent. Lost Odyssey. Lost hidden treasure on the Xbox is what I says. Thanks so much. You're so thoughtful, and especially having these things after narrowly escaping death for the second time. I really appreciate it. Oh wait, there's one more thing in here. God, I hate that thing. Once again, it's about to get really weird around here, so let's go ahead and watch our review of Dead Space 3.
Round 3, fight! Well, it's that magical time in our Dead Space retrospective. Dead Space 3, Deader Space. I made that up. Developed again by Visceral Games and published by those benevolent bastards, EA. Dead Space 3 was released across the platforms in the dead of winter 2013, and it's another puzzling third entry to a series, something that video games just seem to have trouble with. Mass Effect 3 had a terrible ending which was well trolled and documented, Assassin's Creed 3 was terrible, and Dead Space 3, well, let me try and explain my feelings about this one with an analogy of sorts. Have you ever been involved in a relationship with someone that is just the bee's fucking knees, and life is all sunshine and roses? The sex is incredible. She doesn't mind the cloud of cannabis and piles of comic books which surround you. This one is the one, until it fizzles out and she runs off with a douchebag who's just working at the same restaurant as you to cover his overhead of working on his screenplay, or memoirs, thesis, or Josh Jackson Sublime rip-off style music, and you lose your fucking mind. How are you going to get over this? Well, you screw around and get drunk enough until you fall into a similar situation with a significant other as similar to the previous one as possible. Some time goes by and you realize that this new one is going nowhere, and you aren't over the old one. Some people refer to this as a rebound. That's what Dead Space 3 is to me. It's a rebound, and try as I might, I just can't bring myself to love it or get over that great time I had with Dead Space 2.
Oh! Oh my god! Good lord! What the?
So with that analogy aside, we find our protagonist Isaac trying his best to get over the hot chick with the eye patch from the second game, and the memories of flesh-eating monsters and the religious cult-driven end-of-the-world prophecy by, well, he's doing it by being a whiny baby in his room. We aren't off to a good start here. Then before you can say Jack Robinson, the dude who played Michael's boyfriend and Queer as Folk, comes busting through his door with another guy and they start to whoop his ass. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Turns out these guys are the good guys. And they're there to get Isaac off planet to Eye Patch Girl's last location lickety-split before those crazy unitologists get Isaac first. Some action ensues, then they crash land on Tal Volantis, an ice planet which appears to be the fabled Marker homeworld. The rest of the story, spoiler alert, involves Isaac arguing with Michael's boyfriend about the Eye Patch Girl and whether it's in their best interest to stop the Markers forever or get off planet. Really, that's about it. Now, before anyone criticizes me for not understanding the Dead Space story, I am aware that there is the Nicole is dead backstory, and it was a big deal of sorts for Isaac. But it was just that, a backstory. So he befriended someone else who could handle themselves in the last game. Now that was a big deal? Now, I'm supposed to believe that they had a meaningful relationship of sorts, and that after all Isaac has been through, it was always the love of a good woman that was what was driving him nuts? I mean, think about it. Do we even really know if Nicole was worth a damn in the first place? I mean, hear me out. This is a truly underdeveloped character when you think about it. And the only way we ever really saw her was just the marker being creepy anyways. So what's the relevance of this rambling? This is the annoying backstory of this game. A fucking love triangle. Seriously. You get to hear Hal Sparks' significant other get all macho and creeper with Isaac over the comm constantly. Last time I checked, they were up against flesh-eating monsters. So how is this a good time for this? This is part of what annoys me about this game's story for sure. That and the guy with no personality who is supposed to be accompanying Isaac along for the adventure. Why that guy? Who came up with this shit? As far as presentation is concerned, the game is mostly the same as the last one. The lighting, sound, graphics, zero-G, all that shit is still there and it's fantastic. This time around, Isaac can crouch. It's worthless, and you only ever do it accidentally, but he can do it. There is the addition of a roll to avoid an attack, which does come in handy because quickly you realize that this is no longer a survival horror game, but an action one. Oh yeah, and it's built for online co-op between Isaac and this other guy, Carver, who has no personality whatsoever, and ultimately results in cheap sequences where you're easily surrounded because the other guy isn't there to help. I don't online co-op, and I don't think I'm missing much. One addition to this game which I liked was the ability to craft your own weapons. This makes sense for an engineer main character, and it is fun. The downside to this is that you can easily make ridiculous weapons, which makes the game pretty damn easy. Gone is the suspense, the scares, the desolation of the previous games. Gone is the resource management. I mean, seriously, they're just spitting ammunition out of the walls. You really have a hard time losing in this one. Dead Space 3 is a big, noisy, dumb action flick, which would be okay if I wasn't expecting something else entirely. The addition of optional missions is kind of nice, but it still remains basically thankless anyways. The story gets confused rather quickly, and the ending is cheap. What really chaps my ass about this one is that they had the nerve to release a DLC installment to make the ending make sense. Are you kidding me? No. I'm checking. No, you're not kidding me. And I still refuse to buy it. How desperate for additional revenue are we that I'm expected to pay for the ending to a game which was mediocre at best in the first place? Not to mention all the built-in microtransactions, which are entirely optional, but they're there, and that's weird. This is not a free-to-play game, this is a game I bought. In the end, Dead Space 3 was an okay time. It's definitely the misstep in the franchise, and I hope that with the inevitable sequels, things improve. If you can get it cheap and you've played the others, then by all means give it a go. There are far worse games out there, but there are a lot better ones as well. If you love the series as I do, then you have no choice. But if you're just looking for something to do, then play one or two. And as you do it, remember the fun ratio. More fun for less money, and you're having a good time. Having a good time. Rocking it out and having a good time.
It got crazy around here again, but I'm not running it anymore. This is the last time this necromorphs f*** with rock bottom reviews, I can tell you that. So we'll be here next week, and in the meantime, cut off their limbs. Ah! You want some? Get some, motherfucker! Come on!